Hi, and welcome to day one of Transform Your Impact. My name's Alexa Henderson, and I'm the creator of this series. Every day for the next 21 days, I will be sending you a personally selected interview with a leader of impact in the entrepreneurial and creative spaces. These interviews are real, short, and to-the-point conversations with thought leaders, creatives, and entrepreneurs who've created massive impact in the world, made millions of dollars, and who are living legacies of purpose and fulfillment. I created this series to combine my love of media and transformation and to amplify the mindset tools, principles, and strategies that will get you results in your life while bringing you happiness and fulfillment. I want to do this because I personally spent years bouncing around from job to job looking for my purpose. I went from being an assistant director at an institute at the University of Florida out to Los Angeles shooting celebrities to waiting tables just 2 years ago in Columbus, Ohio. I was all over the place and I was often stuck and spinning my wheels. It wasn't until I discovered and began practicing the keys that I'll be sharing with you in these interviews that I was able to get clear on my purpose and my vision and gain the inspiration and confidence to start taking committed action to create the life of my dreams. So now I'm the owner of The Social Coup, a production company focused on creating meaningful, impactful content for people and causes creating good. And I'm also co-owner and one of the trainers at Next Level Trainings in Philadelphia, where we support people in unlocking their power, passion, and purpose with experiential emotional intelligence leadership trainings. So I know that's a lot of information, but the main thing that I want you to know is that I've interviewed each of these leaders to deliver valuable keys that you can start using right away to make a difference in your life and your results, and that I'm committed to supporting you on your journey to create the life of your dreams. Now that you know who I am and what I'm up to, I'm going to introduce our first speaker, Chris Hawker. He's a personal mentor of mine, and he's also my brother-in-law. He's been a successful inventor for the past 20 years, and now he's also a transformational trainer and one of the co-owners of Next Level Trainings in Columbus. And he's got tons of valuable mindset tools and outlooks for you to utilize in your life. So please welcome Chris Hawker.
For having me. I'm excited to be here. I actually got started as an inventor when I was 16 years old. I had an aquarium maintenance business and I started having ideas for improved filters for my clients. And so I started building filters and selling them to my clients. And I discovered I had a knack and a passion for problem solving and that you could make money doing that, which was exciting because when I was in high school and my friends were making minimum wage at jobs, I was making pretty good money as an inventor. And then,
Awesome.
yeah, I was like, this is cool, right? I could use my drawing skills, not just to draw, comic books, but I could use it to create new possibilities of way things could work, and I could figure out problems on paper. And that was exciting to me because I was also obsessed with science fiction when I was a kid. And I would read science fiction books and I was always reading about the future. And I was like, I want to be part of making the future, not just, a consumer of it, but I want to be part of the actual people creating how that looks. And so I went through college, I went to the Ohio State University. And right after I graduated, I started my company Trident, which is Trident Inventscom, which is my product launching company where I take my own ideas and bring them out to market. And I also help other people do that. And over the last 20 years, I've helped bring about 100 products to market. I've worked on about 300, about 100 brought to market. I got a few examples here to show you. Here's one of my marketing products. These are the onion goggles. These are goggles.
Wow.
So I invent very important technology. These are glasses so you don't cry when you chop onions.
Somebody famous was wearing those that you were telling me about.
Well, they were on the Modern Family, and Vanilla Ice wore them on the Today Show, and he's a gadget guru guy. Anyway, so that's fun, and they've been on TV many times, and they've sold about 1 million pair over the years, believe it or not.
Wow.
And I collect royalties on them. That's how inventors make money, is they license things, collect royalties. This is my most successful product. This is the Power Squid, which is like a power strip that looks like a squid, which I licensed to Philips Electronics, and they sold that very well. And then this last one here I'll show is the Carbon Flyer. It's a carbon fiber paper airplane that you control with your phone, and it's app controlled. And I've worked on many things in tons of different industries. And part of what makes the job of being an inventor so fun is how many different types of products I've gotten to work on in so many different industries. And I've gotten to work with like individual inventors And also like Philips Electronics is a $35 billion company. I've worked with Stanley. I've worked with all kinds of larger companies. I've had products sold in large retailers. So the scale and diversity of the job is what really I love the most about it. And also having products in stores is very cool. You create passive income. And I'm a big fan of creating passive income so I can make money while I sleep. And it's also a type of anonymous fame. Like my products are in millions of households around the world, and people know my products. They don't necessarily know me, but I know that I'm impacting lives all over the place in small and bigger ways.
Very, very cool. Awesome. So cool. So it seems like transformational trainer and inventor seem like fairly different territory, but can you tell us like what was the segue there?
Well, so I've been an inventor for all these years, and as an inventor, I got to lead lots of teams full of engineers and marketing people, the inventors, the teams on the execution side at the companies who are making the products. But I'd never had any leadership training. And so a few years back, about 5 years ago, actually, a good friend of mine who was someone I had previously mentored, a guy named Lewis Howes, he came to me and said, I've got, this experience that I'd like you to have, and invited me to do a training, a personal transformation training. So I said, okay, let me check it out. I had a lot going on in my life and I was very busy, but it seemed like it would be a good investment considering I had been leading these teams and without any training. And I was having various, mixed results, let's say, in my leadership. Like I was being very successful as an inventor, but as a leader, I was definitely seeing mixed results as observed by like the culture in my company and high turnover with certain employees. And so it seemed like a wise investment. And so I went out to Los Angeles and did this training. And when I went out to do it, I wasn't quite sure what to expect from a leadership training. And I just kind of went in without knowing anything. And I thought it'd be like a college class, only it was leadership training. So I was expecting maybe a military guy with a crew cut and a military uniform. It's going to be very stern. I was definitely clear it was going to be because leadership is stern.
Totally.
And serious. And so, and then what I showed up and it was something completely different. It's experiential based training where you participate in exercises with other students, and there's like one-on-one and small group and large group exercises that are each designed to support you in seeing yourself in action. Because when we go about our lives, we don't, the camera can't film itself, right? Without the support of mirrors. And the training acts kind of like a mirror where you can sort of see yourself in action and then see what's working, what's not working. Well, I was immediately able to identify a lot of things that were not working in my leadership, as well as in my life. And that's the thing, because really the training was about like working on yourself, and you are your own greatest invention, right? Like you are the tool that you use to do everything in your life that you do. You use you in your work, you use you in your pursuit of health, you use you to entertain yourself, you use you in your relationships. And so anything you do to upgrade you benefits every single domain of your life. So while I went out there really to improve my business leadership, the biggest changes that occurred for me actually were in my own level of happiness and in my relationships, particularly with my wife and my son. I've been married at the time 10 years, and I have had a 3-year-old. He's 8 now, Nico, and Summer, that's my wife, your sister. And really, like, it transformed our relationships in our household. And that was what got me most excited. So anyway, long story short, training had a huge impact on me, much bigger than anything I could have imagined. And so I decided to go through the full process that was available and saw massive transformations in my life. But not just my life, the other people in the class around me were having similar experiences. And also then I started telling people about it back in Ohio. Like everyone, I was telling my wife about it, my friends about it, my in-laws about it, people in line next to me at the store about it. I was like, hey, there's this thing, you got to check. It's worth it.
Right.
Change your life. And people listened because I was so passionate. And so people started going out to Los Angeles and doing this training out there. And at some point I was like, I wonder if this would work in Ohio. And at first people were skeptical as to whether or not it would work in Ohio, because people have some, they think, oh, Ohio, those people are, not as sophisticated as the coasts. So my story has always been, Ohio, we're just as smart at half the price. Like 10% of the ego. So you get like people who are, pretty grounded and family oriented and not flashy, but kind and authentic. And actually, so my wife and I, and along with my best friend, Abe, the three of us decided to give it a shot in Ohio. See, like, if we bring this here, will people be into it? And people were into it, and it took off. So we created next level trainings here in Ohio. And, you know, my mother, my brother, my father, my sister-in-law, my other, that's like from my side. And then also from Summer's side, like you and your father and countless other people, plus people we knew from the business community, started coming through and experiencing this 3-level training system that we'd, you know, been enrolled in. And so it's a 3-level process. It goes through 3 stages: discovery, breakthrough, and VIP. And in this first stage, it's a 3-day training. You take a step back from your life to look at your life and really diagnose what's not working is the primary purpose. And we also look at what's working, but we're really looking for those blind spots that are stopping it. The second part, which is a 4-day training called breakthrough, is 4 days where you break through the limiting patterns and limiting beliefs that you identify in the discovery training. And then the last part, which is called VIP, is a 10-week program with 3 weekends and 5 evening modules where you, with the support of a coach and a team, develop new patterns in your life. Because just because we've identified a pattern in the first couple trainings doesn't mean we broke through it, because the old patterns will reassert themselves. As soon as we go out in the world, because we're human beings are creatures of pattern. And this is what I've been learning in this work as I've been, you know, investing in it, is that, you know, we have patterns, and 95% of our actions, according to studies, 95% of our actions are habitual.
Totally.
5% are consciously controlled.
Right.
But when we're trying to shift the results in our lives, we tend to focus on that 5% and shift like what we're eating in that 1 meal in 20 that we're actually being conscious, and how we're exercising. But if you really want to shift your results in a big way in your life, what you want to shift is that 95% that you're doing unconsciously. And that requires shifting your mindset and shifting like your sense, who you think you are, like shifting your identity. Like you want to start working out. And so instead of having the mindset of a person who doesn't work out or who eats unhealthy, then having to force yourself to make a different decision every time. Like, oh God, I want the burger and fries, but I'm going to choose the kale.
Right.
I want to stay in bed, but I'm going to choose the gym.
Right.
But like, you can only force yourself to do it so many times.
Mm.
But if you shift your identity and say, like, I'm a person who goes to the gym, even if I haven't been before, I decide going for it, I'm that type of person, and successfully shift your identity, who you think you are, into someone who does that, then suddenly going to the gym isn't something you have to force yourself to do. It's what you do naturally.
Well, it's about limiting beliefs too, right? Letting go of limiting beliefs about yourself.
Yeah, well, the limiting beliefs, which are, you know, we have our navigation system for getting through life to getting what we want, is made up of beliefs about the nature of the world and how to get what you want. And some of those beliefs work and some of them don't work. And the ones that don't work are the ones we call limiting beliefs. So it's identifying all the beliefs that don't work. And that's what the trainings do. So is they help you identify those limiting beliefs and then break through them because they're deep seated, and then bring it alive in your life, the new belief that's going to empower the results you want to create. So
yeah, and I did want to just mention that, like, all the studies that are being done recently are showing that it takes at least 66 days to create a new habit. So it's like, you know, you need a boot camp in your life to keep you on that new pathway for the best results.
Well, it's like if you're going to train for a triathlon, you got to take a focused period of time. So at the end of it, you can hit that triathlon and know that you can complete it and in a time that you want, right? So this is like the triathlon of your life. And you know, so it's a short period of time where you invest intensely to create a permanent shift in the quality of your experience of your life.
That's
and
awesome.
I want to make sure I also circle back and answer the question, because this was the segue from being an inventor into this transformation.
Totally.
To close that loop, I came into this just as a student, but then once we brought this to Ohio and it started to take off in Ohio, and I decided I'd actually wanted to become a trainer of it. Then I started training under my mentor, Chris Lee, and he started, training me in how to be a trainer. And once I got beneath the hood of it, I realized it's actually almost the exact same as being an inventor. Yeah. As an inventor, you're seeing possibilities that aren't already occurring and then causing them to occur through a series of tools and steps. Well, being a transformational trainer is use the same exact part of my brain, only instead of seeing new possibilities in products, I see a new possibility in a person. And then the trainings have a technology which is we call this transformation. They're transformational trainings. And that's the transformational technology are exercises and tools that allow you to shift and create new possibilities in people. And the new possibility might be bringing alive passion in someone who's previously been like, I got no passion. That was me, actually. When I went into trainings, I had a certain level of success that had always been built on my intellect. Like I was always good at math and, considered myself a smart person. And so my success up to a certain point had been built on that's, intelligence. But part of the personality construct I'd created for myself was, intellectuals are also, professorial. And so if I would talk in front of a group, I would be like a professor, and I thought of myself as a professor.
You looked like a professor. You looked a lot older about 10 years ago.
Well, and like a professor too, half the people in the room would be asleep. Like I would be droning on and impressed with myself, but everyone else is falling asleep.
Right.
So, but I brought a lot of passion through this process in myself and realized that, they don't have to come together. You can be passionate and smart, and you can also be that and also loving. And so transformation is this ability to realize that who you are and how you show up in the world is not fixed. You can become whoever you want to be, and it's a choice. Now, this isn't to say that there's not some essential self that's unchanging. And in fact, this work is about stripping off everything that isn't your essential self so you can actually reveal truly your authentic self, who you truly are, and all its magnificence. And then those other pieces that you used to think were fixed become tools that you can use or not use in moment to moment, depending on what's wanted and needed. So in some moments, what's called for is to be powerful and assertive and to break through barriers. Other times, what's called for is to be soft and loving and a safe space for people. And you want to be able to shift depending on what's needed. But you get a lot of guys or gals who are like powerful executives who can, break through walls, but then they're at home breaking through the walls. And that's not creating an environment in their home that is love, right? Which is, what we're looking for. Yeah. At home, they want.
Oh, yeah. Hey, and go ahead. At home, you need to be able to shift, basically.
Right. And not only be one note. And then in other cases, there's an opportunity to inspire a room. You want to be able to stand up in front of a room and inspire the room and not only have the note called like being quiet and retiring and in the background. So being able to access all the different ways of being in yourself in order to have more opportunities to impact the world and create results in your own life.
That's so cool. Yeah. I mean, I guess part of being emotionally intelligent is being emotionally aware so that you can read what each situation actually requires from you as a person to be effective and to be of the most service, really.
Right. Which is leadership, right? So we call this leadership training. And sometimes people are like, how is it leadership training exactly to be more in touch with your emotions? And what I say is, well, until you become in charge of your emotions are in charge of you. And therefore you're not actually leading yourself. And until you can lead yourself, you can't lead other people. So you really got to get control of yourself first and be proficient at getting yourself to do the things that you want to do. Because so often we have things that we want, but for some reason we're not creating them. Like we want to shift diets, but we don't have the willpower to do it. Or we want to start exercise, or we want to stop spending money impulsively, or we want to stop being reactive with our spouse, but we don't know how to. And so like just wanting it is enough. And even just knowing it, how to do it is enough. It's like getting yourself to do it. And so that's leadership, is being able to lead yourself first and foremost. And then you can lead by example, because as this is my number one favorite quote. I got a lot of favorite quotes, but my number one favorite quote is Winston Churchill. There's three ways to lead: by example, and by example. Right? And so once you start leading yourself and demonstrating what that looks like, to be a person who sticks to their vision, who keeps their commitments, who uses their voice in situations where they can make a difference, other people see that and they become inspired to do the same for themselves. And that's true leadership, as opposed to, or distinct from, just authority. And so because there are a lot of people who have authority granted to them by some structure outside of the government or roles in a business. People with authority
decide it. They're right. Just decide.
but who don't have leadership skills.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of leaders who lack authority too, like people who have zero authority, but who are incredibly inspirational in the way they lead their lives. Like many people have grandmas or grandpas who are incredible leaders, or an aunt or an uncle or a dog, right? I know a lot of people, I learned from my dog, and I'm sure you do, because there's a lot of dogs who are Zen masters.
Truth. And that's why we like to keep them around.
Exactly.
That's awesome. Okay, cool. So, I mean, I feel pretty clear. Thank you for like showing us the the insides and inner working around emotional intelligence. And it's true. It's like the Harvard Business Review wouldn't be saying that it's the number one predictor of success if there wasn't like a direct impact on the success that you're able to have in the world, and making more money, creating more teams that work together, and there's like a bottom line to all of it as well.
Absolutely. Well, people think most of the time that the secret to success has something to do with what you're doing, right? It's the primary contributor to success are the actions that you're taking, but the actions come from a place. And really, if you want to create success, you got to get back to the place where the actions come from in order to really shift the results in your life. And that gets getting to the root of who you are and who you're being in the world and how you're operating in the world based on who you think you are in the world, like your identity. And so if you really want to, maximize your impact out there, you first really get to focus on developing yourself into the most powerful tool. So I really encourage people to like really see themselves, as I said earlier, as your own greatest invention, and to constantly be investing in all the different ways that you can, like in your personal growth, in developing your mindset, and taking on the wisdom of people who've spent time developing wisdom. Like with this series, Transform Your Impact, what an incredible opportunity for people to hear from a lot of different brilliant minds of people who've focused on specific areas of expertise. So fill yourself up with this wisdom. And also like focusing on the opportunities available to learn with having the gift of this body through like exercise and martial arts and dance and what that is. And then also food and eating, and like how you're eating, and the possibilities for expression in cooking, and then experiencing life. Like there's just so many opportunities for experience, and most people dumb their lives down or shrink their lives down to something pretty small. And I encourage people to expand and get bigger and bigger and bigger, because this is it. This is your shot. This is your one chance. Don't miss the shot. This isn't a dress rehearsal for your life. This is it. And so tools like this empower people to live a bigger life. And here's kind of like how I like to imagine it. I don't know why this serves me really well, but it's like, it's a game. It's like a video game. And my goal is to get the highest score possible for me, but it's not the highest score is measured in the quality of the experience. Like the amount of impact I have in the world around me, as well as the amount of joy that I experience, the amount of joy I create around me, the scale of my business impact, as well as the amount of time that I get just with me, having like my own personal experiences in, the big picture. And it's not just about flying, but about flying beautifully. Like there's an aesthetic to it, and how can I truly turn my life into the most beautiful piece of art or the most beautiful invention I can imagine.
Amazing. So if you could distill down, like the number one piece of advice that you would give our viewers for, making a big impact in the world, what would you say that would be?
Yeah, play all in. If you want it all, you got to give it all. Play all in, like your life depends on every single thing. You're washing the dishes, wash them all in. You're like walking down the hall, walk down the hall, all in. You're going to your job, you play your job. I don't care if it's the first job and you're at the bottom of the rung. The way you do anything is the way you do everything. Do it all in, and then pretty soon you'll climb to the top of the ladder. In your marriage and your relationships, be all in. Don't half-ass it. You half-ass it, you get half-assed result. You want the full result. You want the maximum. Then give the maximum. Give everything you got, and at the end of your life, you can look back on your life and be like, everything worked out. Everything, it was magical. And it comes from that pouring yourself into what you do.
Love it. Love it. And you have some wonderful gifts to give our viewers, and in both your invention business and in Next Level. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're an inventor and you've got an idea and you want to understand, like, how do I make money from my ideas? I've got the Genius Guide to Inventing over at my website, Trident Inventscom. And it's free. It's an 8-video series where I distill 25 years of experience down into about an hour And so that's free. When you sign up, you'll also get then from our newsletter, monthly innovation challenges, and also the ability to upload for free products to our Think Bank portal, where we can take a look at them and let you know if we're interested in representing them for license, which is what Trident does, is we license products, help the best ideas find the best homes.
Awesome.
And then
Can we just mention one thing though? If you don't choose to license them and enter into that with the people who might upload, it's their content, yeah.
Yeah, it's their content. They own their ideas completely. We're just everything's confidential, and we take no ownership and we make an agreement, and then we represent our clients as agents.
Cool.
And then in the world of Next Level, where we have these transformational trainings here in Columbus and in Philadelphia, where you're located, we're going to be offering a free giveaway, a discovery training, which is the first of the 3 trainings, and it's the 3-day experience. I am a discovery trainer. It's the training that I lead, and it's a $495 value. And so we'll be giving one away in Philadelphia and one away in Columbus to people this is just for people in Transform Your Impact. And then in addition, we are going to be offering a free 15-minute coaching call with one of our staff coaches. And so when you sign up, you'll have the opportunity to book a free coaching call where you can clarify one of your goals, and we'll work with you to identify whatever would stop you from creating it, and then create a plan forward so that you can manifest your dreams. So that's free, 15-minute call. You just sign up and book right there through the link.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Chris. I really appreciate your wisdom and dropping the knowledge on us.
It's been my pleasure. Thanks for putting this together and creating the impact you're making in the world. I'm so excited for you and so excited to see what this creates for you and everyone who's involved. Thanks, Alexa.
Thanks so much for joining us today on Transform Your Impact. Tune in again tomorrow. We're going to be interviewing marketing genius Kyle Wilson, who's responsible for skyrocketing the career of Jim Rohn and many other legends. And we're going to be continuing to give you massive value and keys to open the doors for success, living your life's purpose, and making money. We'll see you tomorrow.